Hey y'all, hey, it's JJ Conway. Welcome to Building Wealth Together, where our goal is to help you walk in abundance and leave a legacy. It's Wealth Building Wednesday, where we answer your money questions with style and grace. To ask your question, go to buildingwealthtogether.com and click Ask JJ or leave a voicemail at 1-833-4-ASK-JJC. Let's get into it.
Let's see what we've got for questions today. Okay, college student looking for how to begin habits of smarter savings and financial peace. Ooh, I like this. I love anybody in college who wants to get a handle of their money, because now is the best time to get a handle. Now, since we're talking about college, let me just say something to the masses here. All right? College loans are not bankruptable. My very first recommendation to anybody in college is do not take loans if you don't have to. Do everything you can to avoid taking loans. And if you've got to take loans, you're already in a situation where you're kind of committed and all that stuff, and you can't back out of it and do some work study or something. You know, I can't make your decisions for you, but I can tell you one thing. Try to not take those student loans. And if you got to take one, get a subsidized student loan. But anybody who's starting out, you're just going off to college, whether or not you have to take a loan, and I really hope you don't, it hamstrings your future, y'all. You can start the foundation now of saving and planning. The path to financial independence is very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple. And it's simply spend less than you make and invest the difference. The reason it's not easy in today's society is because the easy route pulls debt at us in all directions. And that debt hamstrings our future. And y'all have heard my story. I was so dumb about debt that I did it 3 times. You know, the first time was personal debt. I thought I learned my lesson. The second time was business debt. I said, oh, well, I guess we can't do debt for business. Learned my lesson on that one. The third time, I guess it's my debt trinity. The third time was my church debt that I took on for the sake of the ministry, and it was like, okay, that was dumb. That was really dumb. Like, why would you think God would have you do something for the church that he tells you not to do for yourself? But you know what? Sometimes some of us are just a little more hard-headed than others. Don't be as hard-headed as me, Mr. First-year college student. I want you to start making your habits now of saving and planning. And by saving and planning, I mean plan that you're going to save what you can towards the things that you want rather than buying on debt, and that you will plan every dollar that you receive each month before you spend it. Now, for people who are making irregular income, and a lot of times college students are making irregular income, we would use what we call an irregular income spend plan. And basically what that is instead of a set, oh, I'm going to spend $20 on shoes this month and $50 eating out, it's a, hey, if I make $20, I'm buying some new shoes this month. If I make $50, I'm buying new shoes and buying my mom her birthday gift. If I make $100, I'm buying new shoes, getting mom her birthday gift, and spending $50 eating out with my friends. Oh, I'm going to have a good month. You know what I mean? It's planning it before you spend it, okay? The other thing I want to say to anybody starting out, if you are in your 20s listening to me and you start investing $100, $200 a month, you will retire a multimillionaire. As of yet, now granted, there could always be a cataclysmic change in the world, you know, but as of yet, since the beginning of the stock market, there has not been a 40-year period where people didn't become millionaires, multimillionaires in today's dollars by investing what is the equivalent of $100 to $200 a month in today's dollars. Okay, there's not one. You cannot go out there and find one. Even through the Great Depression, you cannot find one. Okay, so that's where I would start. Great question. Okay, so yeah, student loans. Well, I've got somebody here who has discovered why I'm telling you stay out of student loans, and they're unsubsidized. So here's the thing about student loans. Okay, first of all, they're not bankruptable. This person's looking for someone to help them get out of the debt. They have more student loans than what they're effectively bringing in. And here's the thing. Sometimes we think, I'm going to go take a loan so I can go to college and get a better job. But we have to do our research, okay? Sometimes it's not worth it. And if you guys look at my we're going to rebrand it, but I have a class called Money Blossoms, and we walk young people through how when you start off with student loans, you lose years of earning potential that other people around you are using to buy, to save up for a house and to buy stocks and bonds and to invest in the market and invest in real estate. And they've got a lead on you. So, yes, we feel like we're doing well because this generation is going to college more than our parents did, at least in my culture. And we may feel like, this is great. But really, by the time you finish paying off the loans, you're almost no better. You're almost no better generationally, financially. So it's time to break that cycle. Okay. First of all, they're not bankruptable. Second of all, this person that wrote in the question, I would love to help you through this. You sent it not long ago, so I hope you're on the call today. They're not. Most of these aren't even subsidized. So if they're not government subsidized, it means that the bank can charge you whatever they want. They can give you whatever terms they want. They can make it so that your kids have to pay it off. I mean, those things are ridiculous. Stay away from student loans. And if you've got student loans that are subsidized with the government, don't refinance out of them into a private loan. They make it sound real good up front. Ooh, you'll have 0% interest for the first 3 years. And then they will find an excuse like, we didn't realize how bad your credit was, even though we checked it 1,000,000 times. So 3 months later, now you got 46% interest rate. Okay? Stay away from those things. Okay. Early 20s, newly married couple is looking for financial advice to start saving for a house and allocate savings investments. Ooh, I love this. Well, let me take that back. I was about to say I wish I would have been about my money when I was in my 20s. I actually was about my money in my 20s. And then I liquidated my investments at the request of my now ex-husband. Don't do that. Young ladies, don't let some smooth-talking man take all your money. All right? It takes a long time to rebuild. The older you are, the longer it takes. All right. Newly married, I'd say the first thing that you really want to do, especially if you guys are living together. I know a lot of couples right now aren't living together because of, economy and jobs and things like that. If you are living together, I really would recommend starting out on a unified budget plan. Depending on your spend habits of each other, a unified account, okay? Because you want to be in joint planning. You want to have joint responsibility with each other. You don't want to have one foot out the door, okay, and someplace to run to if things get rocky, And so now I say that with caveats because some financial planners will say, you should always have every joint account. Well, if you've got one spouse that likes to spend, and they don't understand that sometimes the money runs out before the checks do, well, then you may not want to combine yet until they've had some level of responsibility, okay? But those are things that you guys are going to have to work out together. Hopefully that's not the case with this couple that's looking for how to start saving for a house. So the biggest thing one of the easiest ways for a young couple to start saving for a house, I think this is fantastic. When you're starting off in your 20s, you don't have the same level of commitments in child, football teams and all that kind of stuff that you have to do with older children, generally speaking. So it's a great time to work hard to live off of one income because then you can save the other income. And the cool thing about this is I know several people who's starting out living off of one income. Maybe the one spouse is making $50,000 a year, and it's a scrimping and saving kind of 4 or 5 years when they start out. But they're saving the other spouse's income of $20,000 or $30,000 a year. Well, if you do that for 4 or 5 years, that's $100 to $125,000 that you can now drop on a house. And in most areas of our country, you can actually buy a house, a nice starter house, for $125,000. So what a great way to start your family is with a paid-for house. And then when it comes to savings, I definitely recommend taking advantage of all the free money your employer offers for like 401ks and stuff. But if you have no debt, then I recommend doing 15 to 20% in IRA, especially if you can put it in an after-tax vehicle where you'll never be taxed on that money when you pull out the earnings later. The only caveat to this is really if you've got a lot of debt. See, people think it's okay to take on debt because they're leveraging the debt and using their personal money for something else, like to invest or to get the things that they want to get. And they think that that's going to help them out in the long run. But actually what I've seen over 2 decades as being a financial planner is actually even when the math works, for some reason, the behavior doesn't work. And so, yeah, someone got a 0% loan or someone got a 2% loan, and that's great and all, but somehow it always ends up at tripping them up. Now, there's 1 or 2 people out there who are very disciplined, but honestly, if we were all disciplined and if we all paid attention to math, banks would be out of business. Okay? So I would do those 2 things. I would really consider working hard to live off of one income for a while, to pay off debt with the other income, start saving for a house, and investing. And I would probably invest and save for a house at the same time, because then you harness the power of the time value of money. What a great question. I hope that's been helpful for you. All right, one more. I love this question. I actually answered this person personally because they went to my website at jjconway.org, and they scheduled an appointment before the class tonight, so they weren't able to make the class. But I'm going to answer it for you guys anyway because I think it's a great question, and this was a delightful couple. And I encourage you, if you need to talk to a financial planner one-on-one, I do offer 1 free coaching session, no charge. And sometimes if I can tell that I might want to work with you a second time, but I'm not sure if we're ready yet to commit to an ongoing relationship, I might cut the class short, give you some homework, and then have you come back later. But you can go to jjconway.org and you can click the green button that says free coaching, okay? So this is a couple that had a windfall, and they wanted to know how best to budget their money. And their question here is, should we pay off all debt first, 3 months living expenses, etc.? And so what I recommended is that they really do follow Dave Ramsey's baby steps. I know some people out there, I know I've got, at least one client that's not a big fan of Dave Ramsey's baby steps, but I'll tell you what, they work. They mathematically may not work as fast as other techniques, but the people who do them find success every time. Okay? And so I love the idea of paying off debt and having that emergency fund set in place. The emergency fund is so poignant to me because without my emergency fund, I would not have been able to maintain my lifestyle after those 2 car accidents. We wouldn't have been able to keep my son in the school that he's in right now. We wouldn't have been able to do the things that we've been able to do as a family, the obligations that we had, unless I had some padding to help hire people, to deal with when you go to the thing and you're free health care because you have coverage where everything is supposed to be paid for, but the copay is $171 for your particular medication because the doctor didn't check generic, whatever it is. Having a savings helps you get through those kinds of times, and that's what a savings is for. Having a savings is when your water main breaks at the same time that your air conditioning in one house goes out and the air conditioning in your husband's house goes out at the same time. When me and my husband live in separate states right now due to our careers. And so having that kind of an emergency fund is huge for being able to weather those storms without derailing your legacy, without derailing your family, you know. So I definitely love the idea of paying off the debt, building that 3 to 6 months of emergency fund. And then depending on what your needs are, if you've got kids working towards their college, working towards your retirement, you know, things like that. Now, I'm always a big fan of take care of your retirement first because my kids are cute. They can find their way in life. I'm not cute enough that someone's going to take care of old JJ. Okay? That did not come out right. Ooh, I better never say that again. But nobody's going to take care of me when I'm old. Uncle Sam might, but I don't think I'm going to like the way he's going to take care of me because I've seen that with my mother-in-law. My ex's mother, before she passed, I saw what state-run homes look like. I saw how they treat you when you're in them state-run nursing homes, and they feed you what they want to feed you, and they take care of you when they feel like it, when they're all getting paid minimum wage to do a job they can't stand to do. I'm not going to be in that position, Lord willing. All right? So I'm a big fan of saving for your retirement. And I've also seen enough people abused by their children or pushed towards the grave because they just want it inherited, that I don't believe you should trust in your children. I think you should take care of your financial, your retirement while you have the opportunity to. Okay? That sounds kind of morbid, but, you know, it's why I do what I do. All right? So I really do. If you have a big windfall of money, here's my recommendation. And then we're going to close on this unless somebody has a live question that you want to ask. If you have a big windfall, my recommendation is that you pay off debt. I feel like I keep saying that. I think somebody on the line today does not want to hear that because you're thinking it's no big deal, and you're thinking, well, I'm using my money for what's more important, and that will take care of itself. But here's the thing. When you want to go buy a house or when you get the opportunity of a lifetime, you're not free to go take advantage of everything you could take advantage for. And not only that, most financial planners look at interest as a penalty. Let me say that again. Interest is a penalty. See, I'm paying the bank interest for the ability to use their money because I failed to plan well enough to use my own. But the bank doesn't sell it to me like that. See, I've got this stack. I keep needing to do a series on it, and I just keep running out of time. I've got this stack of ads from the bank about, well, you deserve a new vacation. Yeah, I deserve a new vacation, but you know what? I want my vacation, my cruise, I want my cruise to only cost me the $600 it's supposed to cost me. I don't want my cruise by the time I'm done paying it all off to cost me $3,000 for a $600 cruise. My $300 new bag, I don't want my new bag to really cost me $1,500 by the time I finally pay it off. I'd rather save my money and have 5 new bags. But see, the banks know that we love to feel pampered and we love to splurge and we love to have fun. And so what they realize is we're very in-the-moment people and we're not very long-term minded as a culture. And so what happens to us then is we fall for these things and we think, it's no big deal. And every month the bank is enjoying the fact that we don't know how to do math. Okay. So yes, I understand the concept of leverage. I understand you get points on your credit card when you buy things on your credit card. Hey, I'm all about free money and free stuff and free points. But you know what? If you can't pay that stuff off in full every month, you need to put that credit card away. And that's a harsh saying. But if we want to be financially free, then that's what we need to do. And I told you, I didn't get it the first time. I didn't get it the second time. It took me 3 times, y'all. And you think I would have gotten it the second time. Because the second time, whoo. Anyway, we'll save those personal stories. for another time. All right, I think that's about all that we've got for today. Y'all take care and be blessed.
Love the podcast? Be sure to like, subscribe, and forward to 3 friends. You can ask a question or take a life-changing class at buildingwealthtogether.com. Now, go walk in abundance and leave a legacy.